So I've been trying to think about something lately, and it's the degree to which people seem unable to stand fully on their own. It's as if individuals need something other than themselves to ground themselves, to claim for themselves. It could be one's nationality, one's race, one's religion. It could just be the others to whom one pledges an allegiance or finds an alignment. It is really fascinating the degree to which individuals they crumble, or I don't know, they just seem to crush under the demand to stand fully and autonomously on their own. And I've heard people say no, that's not true. There is this supreme authority, or this supreme fact of the individual and the individual's sovereignty. And yet, when you ask a person about this, quickly they will come to some philosophical school or some other person who has taught them that, or they will rely upon a tradition in which those beliefs are nourished and grounded, and there are others to whom they go, yeah, you think that too, don't you? And then we find that we are, I think, tribal collectivist apes. We're I guess we seem to just need the warm smell of the herd. We need to have other people shoulder the burden or the responsibility of the kinds of lies that we tell. It's like culture itself is an ongoing lie. It's a lie about relevance and worth and meaning and what counts and what doesn't count. And you can see that it's a lie. And when I call it a lie, I mean it's a lie because there isn't cultural agreement around the globe on what constitutes food, what doesn't, what makes for a meaningful day, what doesn't, what is proper rights for the dead or for marriage. At what age is a child to be treated in a certain way as a grown up? Each culture provides a kind of lie, and the organism, a shaky little without instincts plastic animal, it just flocks right away to, I don't know, the authority of the other, the authority of the collective. I think you can see it here just on YouTube in the way that videos and certain people have a kind of magnetism where just masses, it's like crowds become their own kind of power, and people want to be seen and feel themselves included with some authority that they draw sustenance from, that they can find their grounding in. I remember one time when I was younger, Lee Thayer, one of my great mentors, he said to me in a conversation that it's important for some beliefs that young people have to be very careful in exposing them to others. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, it's sort of like young seedlings or buds on a tree. If they're too young or still too underdeveloped, if that frost sets in, it'll freeze them and kill them. They have to be hardier in order to stand alone and to withstand uh, pressures, the frost that can come from outside. I think this sense that we need, that the organism needs an other to ground itself, to give itself ultimate authority. I think this is partly why the human being is naturally guilty. It's as if our guilt comes from being an animal that emerges into a culture and then simply aligns itself with those practices that happen to be going on in that culture. And whatever that culture practices, we come to practice. And then the guilt is the denying of the arbitrariness of that. The capricious way that in one culture, this is what it means to be of noble descent, of merit, of high value, and in a different culture it means something else. In some cultures, to be of tanned skin, just as an example, is a sign of affluence and that one has lots of leisure. In another society, it's a sign that one has lots of work to do and one is a laborer and one can't afford to be in the shade. This notion of guilt, that the human is a naturally guilty being, I think religions have made an appeal to that guilt. They have given a context and some sort of authoritative story about why the guilt and where it came from. But that may just be one more lie that people are huddling to. In the same way that Darwinian accounts, and I don't mean Darwin, I mean Darwinian accounts that are very popular, that are right now mass rallied around this competitive survival of the individual through, I don't know, I guess a kind of individualist competition that then, I guess, shores up the most robust. This too seems to be a story that people like because it helps to expiate their guilt over all the existing social inequalities. When we look out now into the world, there are many haves and there are many have-nots, and by the good fortune of luck and happenstance, some people were born to wealthy parents and they got a certain life, and other people were born to drunk and neglectful and abusive parents and they got a very different life. And now when we walk down the street and we see someone who's homeless and who's begging for food, it's easy to think that that person probably deserves to be there. And we, as we get into our car and drive off to our jobs or maybe go to our homes, we think, well, we deserve because we've worked hard and we've, taken all of the precautions and done what we need to do in order to live decent and fulfilling lives. And those other people, they're there for whatever reason. But I think we like to alleviate our guilt with stories and with lies. I think guilt is natural, and it's a product or a result of an organism that is self-aware and without instinct and gains its sensibilities of what's right and wrong and of what to do and what not to do from other people. And to that extent, it's built up a kind of lie for itself, and it's guilty of hiding from that lie. I think many people want to believe that they stand alone and as individuals. That, I think, is the lie. Somehow, each of us, every one of us, we're unable to stand alone on our own terms. I think we like to believe that we can, and there's a sense in which we admire people who seem to be able to. The question is, from where come the unseen resources that are helping them fund that courage? Was it hugs from a mom who's no longer there? Is it a belief system that they got from others? From where comes that sense that a person can stand alone? Okay, thanks.